Next, we have blueprint update. Dr. Sampson.
Good evening, President White, Dr. Townsell, and members of the Board of Education. My name is Joe Sampson III, coordinator of Maryland Leads Grant and Blueprint for Maryland's Future. And today I'm providing an update on a few aspects of the blueprint. So my update today will be covering our expert review team visit, national board certification, and our current implementation status. So as you may recall, the AIB approved expert review team site visits last October. CCPS had one school to be reviewed this year, which was Huntingtown High School. The review of Huntingtown High School took place yesterday and today, February 7th and 8th. The two-day review consisted of classroom reviews of teachers and focus group meetings with parents, students, and staff groups. Once the reviews and focus group meetings concluded, the expert review team convened to develop a report and recommendations for the school, which will be provided to Huntingtown High School administration and central office staff, and conclude with a debrief with school administration, which is scheduled for tomorrow. We look forward to the report and providing more information once that report and findings become available to us. The next update is for National Board Certification. This slide represents an update regarding current NBC candidates in Calvert County Public Schools. We once again want to congratulate our 19 newly certified National Board Certified teachers and recognize our 38 total NBC teachers in Calvert County. We're making great strides to increase our NBC numbers across the district. We currently have 70 candidates in the process, and we recently held a support session for candidates on January 30th, and the next session is planned for the end of this month, the support session for candidates. During the January 23rd State Board of Education meeting, the State Board voted to adopt a new college and career readiness standard. And this was a long-awaited adoption, and we've been looking forward to that so that we can continue to plan our ongoing work. The newly adopted CCR standard offers students two options for meeting that standard. Option one, students can meet the standard by demonstrating both academic success and math mastery. Academic success is achieved by earning a high school grade point average of 3.0 or higher. Math mastery may be achieved by either earning a final course grade of A, B, or C in Algebra 1, or alternatively by scoring proficient or above on the Algebra 1 assessment. Option two, students can meet the CCR standard by scoring proficient or above on both the English 10 assessment and the Algebra 1 assessment. So our next update just talks about the feedback sessions that we provided. In November, we got input from district staff and school leaders regarding the design and implementation of the blueprint. The respondents included 52 school-based leaders, primarily principals, assistant principals, and some deans and teacher leaders. So overall, we also had 63 district leaders that were not school-based, so supervisors and directors. Participants were provided with an overview of the blueprint and requirements and engaged in a small group conversation. During the session, they provided written individual and group feedback, which was then taken back to our steering committee to determine what suggestions and recommendations could be developed into implementation strategies. We'll be having a follow-up to that PD session at the end of this month. to discuss those recommendations that came from their feedback and discuss how the suggested strategies can then be developed into action items. So our current progress toward implementation is in 3 phases: the progress monitoring, review and feedback, and then developing a summary narrative. All pillar teams are using the AIB's pillar timeline documents to plan and begin to develop outcomes. Steering committee members and pillar chairs will take the feedback from that staff session and conduct 2 action steps. They'll use the analysis summary report from that session, which was created with our strategic facilitator, to do 1, list any key responses or actions that attend to the feedback in their pillar, and 2, identify 1 or more themes or observations from the report to be considered for future inquiry. And this will be the basis of our response to that district summary narrative, which is due on March 15th, which is in essence our first phase of implementation. On this slide, you'll see the narrative prompts, which is the basis of that March 15th submission. And so the 5 prompts are listed here. So our task is to share how CCPS has been approaching the work of the blueprint and how we will change for the future. So we're thinking about transformational change for our district overall to improve the outcomes for our students. So those 5 bulleted items are as follows. How are your district's vision, goals, strategic plan, and other systems and school level plans aligned to the blueprint? Consider the connections across pillars and how the expected outcomes of the blueprint intersect with and align to programming. Describing how your district is communicating its goals and plans with those implementing the blueprint in the district, including principals and educators, soliciting feedback and adapting its communication strategies to improve stakeholder understanding of the blueprint's purpose. How your district is making systemic changes to support ongoing blueprint implementation. Consider the strategies that have and have not been successful in your approach to reaching the blueprint's expected outcomes. List your district's 3 greatest challenges to blueprint implementation, including the rationale for selecting them, the specific initiatives, programs, or strategies the district will implement to address them, and how your district will transform to implement these strategies effectively. And then lastly, how will we monitor progress toward addressing the 3 greatest challenges that we mentioned to reaching the blueprint's expected outcome? So this narrative response, again, is required by March 15th and is required to be no more than 10 pages in length and aim to address how the blueprint mandates will be addressed in a cross-pillar approach. So not necessarily talking about pillar 1, and we want to make sure that our response is cohesive and spans across all the pillars. So the idea is not to isolate those responses or the intended work, but determine a through line for student improvement that ultimately leads to college and career readiness for all students. What you'll see on this slide is the criteria for success that was outlined, and it's pretty straightforward. We must create a system that equitably serves students and prepares them for success and clearly addresses all of the 5 bulleted prompts. So for the May submission, so this year's submission is in 2 parts. We have the March 15th, which I just described, and then a May 1st submission, which has 3 primary requirements. What progress is being made, how are we adapting plans, and required data analysis. So the progress that's being made relates to whether that progress has been limited, what challenges we've encountered, and then also consider, identify, and refer to available data as needed to demonstrate progress. The second one asks, how is the LEA adapting its plans to mitigate challenges and/or ensure continued progress and future success? which strategies are not working that the LEA will no longer implement, and which new strategies do we intend to implement. Include the rationale for adjustments. So some of that will come from the feedback that we receive over the next couple months as we lead up to that submission. And then we have a required data analysis, which through an analysis of data, discuss the progress towards meeting the blueprint outcome of pre-K teachers and teacher assistants meeting high-quality requirements. What you'll see on this slide is our timeline. We've already submitted our pre-K through 5 comprehensive literacy plan, and our next 2 submission dates are indicated by the green font, which are, again, March 15th and May 1st, as previously mentioned, and then a few other key dates such as our career counseling impact report, our career ladder plan that is due in July, not inclusive of level 4, and then our full career ladder plan in July of 2025. So next steps are to facilitate a school feedback session at Patuxent High School on February the 16th during the PD Day, which will include teachers from all the schools in the southern end of the county during our PD Day on that date. This will be conducted similarly to the January PD session the November PD session described earlier in this presentation. We're also looking to secure a date for a community feedback session in hopes of soliciting suggestions from our community stakeholders. And that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Questions? Ms. Hayes?
You know, this is my favorite part of the whole meeting. I love the blueprint. So I just have 2 really quick questions for you. First of all, when you go back to that timeline, on July 1st, we have a career counseling impact report, and I just want to know how exactly we're measuring that impact. Are we looking at student effects? Are we looking at graduate effects? Things like that.
So since it's a work in progress, the impact report, we haven't received a guideline or a template for that, but I would assume that what it would mean is, do we have our career advisors in every school? Are they communicating or connecting with students? What does it look like? And so basically a narrative of what we've done to date would be our response.
Okay, fantastic. And then just to go down to the very last slide you had with the school and community feedback sessions. So because the school feedback session would be on a development day, that would really target teachers and admin, correct?
Hopefully just the teachers
Okay.
and any other staff that are not administrators, because we've already conducted an administrator feedback session.
I see. And then this really might just be because I haven't heard or noticed one or anything, but is like a student feedback session included in the community feedback session, or is there a student feedback session?
So we're looking at reaching out to students, but we haven't scheduled that, just as it would be separate, because my hope is to conduct one with just students, because I think we would get, I think when you have a session with students independent of community members or parents, you might get different feedback that might be more meaningful. So those will be two different sessions.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Yep,
Ms.
I do.
Belinsky?
I have, I've looked at 3 separate counties, the ones that have, their budgets have hit the newspapers and the like, and every single one of them has said that there is underfunding of blueprint initiatives. And I just wonder which is what we've experienced as well. So I just wonder, amongst your blueprint coordinators around the state, what is the mood? Because you're being asked here what your challenges are. Well, the challenges are, we need to fund getting to $60,000 for starting teacher salary, but, you're not going to be providing all the dollars to do that. So how are we supposed to do that? So is that kind of conversation going on at the state level with all of you guys, or is it being, are you not allowed to put that as a challenge?
It's being discussed every 2 weeks. We have coordinator meetings every other week with members of the AIB and MSDE in attendance during part of that meeting. And our concerns about funding have been discussed since August. So it's something that's ongoing.
And is the AIB, I mean, I've been in the room and when we ask specific questions and they say, we will fund that. And yet, when they don't, the word on the street is that they assume that you're going to cut other parts of your budget that is state funding, you know, because they're going to give you one big thing. And how much you consider Blueprint might be different than how much, you know, we consider our foundational amount that they give. So anyway, is AIB saying that they're fully funding Blueprint, or are they aware of what every commissioner that I've seen is saying?
Yeah, I think they're aware, and they have not made a statement that they are fully funding the Blueprint. What we're being asked to do is think differently about how we will run our school systems. And so we can,
Key word is think differently
right.
about how you allocate your dollars.
Dr. Townsend?
I just want to share, it's a reallocation of resources. That's essentially what it is. It's the pot of money that they give you, and they're saying, hey, do it like this. So the autonomy is gone. Does that make sense?
Yes, but we can't get rid of a lot of the foundational expense base that every school system has, you know, without it being very painful. Then I had one last question on the review teams, the expert review teams. You said you're doing focus groups. What kind of questions are they asking? And to who? Who's part of the focus groups again?
So the school principals are tasked with reaching out to their parents, students, and staff, and they take part of those focus groups on a volunteer basis. So it really depends on the availability of the folks who will participate. In terms of the types of questions that are asked, I can generally say that they want to find out information to see if things are in alignment regarding student supports, what kinds of academic supports are in place, what kinds of curricular programs are in place, and determine the overall environment in the school. And so I can't really speak to the specific questions that are asked, but I will find out whether or not those documents are public for those questions, and I can provide them to you all.
And is the county executive, do they attend these meetings with you? Do you have communication with him?
What was
With someone from the county, a representative from the county, from the Board of Commissioners?
do they attend which?
Are you in communication with them with this whole Blueprint?
Oh, absolutely. So our county administrator is part of our steering committee. And so I communicate with him regularly, and when we have our meetings with the Calvert County Blueprint Committee, he's also one of the co-chairs, and so we communicate and disseminate information to him, which then he shares with the commissioners.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Grennis.
For the CCR standard, the recommendation for adoption, where you have the proposals, see it's on, well, on mine it says slide 5. You have option 1 and option 2. You know, I was looking over those, and the proposed flow chart, that goes with option 1, does it not?
So the flow chart, yes. So, well, no, it actually goes with both. And so if you, is there a question specifically that you need me to answer?
Well, I'm just looking at that, and it seems, would you agree that option 1 seems to be the better option?
I wouldn't say one is better than the other. They're just different. For example, if you think about the way that it's written, a student could have a 3.0 and then exhibit math mastery by passing Algebra 1, course average-wise, or the assessment, or a student could potentially not have a 3.0, but pass the English and the math assessment. So I don't know that one is better.
It just seems to me that option one gives more opportunities for success.
Well, I have a question, if you don't mind, Lisa. With this option two that's here, I read this as, or interpret it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that, you know, really option one, and I think I agree with you that does give more opportunity for success in the event that students just don't test well. But I think it's an either. To me, it's the best of both worlds, because you can succeed with option one, even in light of you not being a good test taker, and we know there's lots of children that are not, or option two does. I think when it all boils down to it, there are a combination of things that are being looked at, especially if a child is going to go on to do something different, and GPA and test scores and all of those things are considered. So it's not any one thing, but to me, this helps a child have a better advantage with the option one.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of a positive than it is a negative.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Ms. Hayes?
I just want to go back to what Ms. Belinsky was discussing about these focus groups during the expert review. So I know that you stated that it was up to the principal to reach out to students and wait for those responses regarding that focus group or the students that they're getting input from. Are these observers or reviewers able to go into the classrooms and speak with the students? I'm going to be completely honest. A vast majority of our students do not know what the blueprint is. If they got an email saying, hey, can you answer this question about the blueprint, or can you provide input on the blueprint, they're not going to look at it because they don't know what it is. So do these reviewers have the opportunity to go into the classrooms and say, hey, this is my job. This is like the most basic idea of what this is. Here's what I need your input on.
So that kind of overview takes place during the focus group with the students, as well as the teachers and the administrators, and the parents, sorry. And there was a fourth group, so it's the administrator group, parents, teachers, and students. But that discussion takes place when they meet with the students. When they go and do the classroom reviews, it's designed to be non-intrusive, so they're just going in there and observing instruction and noting what they see and what they don't see.
So these focus groups, are they formed of students who like responded to an email, or are they formed of students who the principal said, this person would provide good input, this person would provide a different point of view?
I think it varies by school, and so I can't tell you how the selection was made at Huntingtown High School per se, but I have been a part of a school review as an expert review team member, and we just get the names, the numbers of students that are attending. We don't even get their names or anything, or any background on the students, and so when they show up, we just ask them the questions and go through the process.
Are we able to ask our school principals to maybe hand select the students versus waiting for an email response if we do any future reviews?
I think we could, but I don't know that that's what happened. I don't know if an email was sent and they waited for a response, or if the principal went and selected students. That may have been the case, I just don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Sampson.
Thank you.